Okay, so this is called a jerry wand, and it is not really like accurate. Like it'll tell you where it is, but you can't specify certain things. So what I do is I start with this and I just make a big circle in the area to see if it picks up anything. And then when it does, then I use my rods to pinpoint something specific. And it'll probably start a little bit because there's a lot of groundwater here. Okay, see how it starts to kind of spin?
Yeah.
So that tells me that there's a little bit more here than just groundwater. So now I take my other rod, which is just fence wire.
Clean her up.
Oh, you didn't get me the one with the big handle?
Well, I got another one here. It's shorter than that one.
Okay.
You want that one?
I'll try it with this one. Just the smaller handles hurt a little bit more. Okay, so my dad touched this and he can't do it. So I kind of rubbed my cooties all over it to make sure that it kind of counteracts what he's touched. Okay. Okay, so see how it starts to bob? So that tells me that there's some water there. So I will go to that spot and I'm gonna find the direction that the stream is going in. Okay, so that tells me that it's probably running in this line right here. So now I'll try and find how wide it is. Okay, see how it's kind of slowly bobbing? That would be the edge. Should pick up more as I get toward the center. So there we go. So that tells me that the crack or the fissure in the ground where the water is probably about this wide. Here's the center. And if I was looking to like have someone drill for a well, I'd put a stake right here. Then what I would do is I would make another bigger circle with the jerry wand to see if I can find any that cross over there and have two come together. And then I will get an approximate depth.
Now, I'm out of curiosity. How many people actually use water witches to find water? Is it popular in the area?
Kinda. Like back when I was younger, we'd get calls a lot, especially during the summer because the water table drops. So a lot of people lose water or don't have any water. And we would get, gosh, what would you say? I mean, I'd be working pretty steady all summer.
Yeah, all summer. When she was a little girl.
At least every weekend or during the week or whatever. My dad kept a log, so I have a history of all the places I visited.
He said it was about 95% accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
So
we'd get the results back from the well driller. Now, the depth and how many gallons per minute.
And we were working with a particular well driller back when I was younger, and so whenever he would be called out, he'd say, "Oh, you need to get Becky out here and help." And so then he'd call us, and we'd go out to the spot wherever he is.
Now, can you find more than water, or is it like other types
okay,
of?
so that one of those things that we learned in the class that we took at RCC, apparently there's oil dowsing, like back, over in Texas and Oklahoma and stuff, they will use, I've never tried to do anything but water.
Gold?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did we try one time with like a can of motor oil or something? I can't remember.
I can't eat that. If we did, that'd have been
It was a long time ago.
30 years ago.
Yeah. I've never tried anything but water, but I think they do try with oil.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
My
Okay,
ex was a
Get a
petroleum engineer, so that was her
Oh,
job, was to pinpoint
Oh.
water.
Yeah.
So when you talk about this, I mean, water, the life giving
Exactly.
fluid of the
There
world.
are some places that we went to, way out in the Central Point area, back when I was doing it, that were dry, like, or the wells were like 1 gallon a minute or 2 gallon a minute, like Tolo Road area, remember?
Yeah.
And
bad water
we'd
area.
go out there and or it'd be contaminated, like they have sulfur in it and stuff like that. And so I'd go out there, and the wells that we hit weren't gushers, not like 30 gallons a minute, but they'd get like 5 and just be elated because in that area there wasn't a lot of water at all. So if they got like anything, they were so happy, because otherwise you got to pay to have water hauled in. So
Can you tell how much?
no, so I can only do like what the reaction is to me. So I've had ones that were little, and then I've had ones that were really big. I've had my rod snap before. I'd be taking a depth reading because I got to stand here, and it's not all scientific or anything, but basically what I do is I stand here and I count the bobs, and one bob is approximately a foot. And when it hits the water, it will stop. And it will not bob again until I walk away and come back. So when it stops, that's kind of where I'm like, okay, it's like, 203 feet underground or whatever. But as far as like gallons per minute, I've had little reactions that were really good for that area, but they weren't like, 30s. But I had the one that we just did a couple years ago, I had a pretty good reaction, and I
that
found,
went nuts.
yeah, was it 3? I think I found 3
3
streams.
spots, but their well was dry. You tested that. There was nothing in it.
Yeah.
You went 8 feet over, and your stick went absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And that's where they got 100 gallons a minute.
Yeah, they got 100 gallons a minute.
100 gallons a minute.
After having nothing. They had absolutely nothing.
I would think you'd be the most popular person in the area, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you
maybe.
could, if you wanted to keep busy,
Yeah, if I wanted to keep doing it, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you. So as far as like why, as you mentioned, the fields, right? Do you think it's because of the fields? But does this run in your family then? Because you said your grandfather did this too.
My grandfather could do it. My dad can't. At least with this, he could. There's brass rods that cross, and he could do those. But
A
almost
little bit,
anybody can do those. So yeah, I feel like
Your
it's
sister
something,
can't do it.
My sister can't do it. So I don't know. I feel like maybe it just skips a generation and picks somebody. But like when I was growing up and found out that I could do it, we'd get books from the library. I mean, these are old books, right? And they'd try to explain it, but they said children can't do it. I could do it. They said you'd have to be in contact with the ground. My dad put me in the back of his truck and drove me around, and I could still do it on top of rubber tires. So there are all these things out there that said specifically why and how, and like I debunked them. So I don't.
So it's not something you can learn to do.
No, it's inherent. It's either you can do it or you can't. I give this to my dad. It just is there. I will, if I put my hands around his hands, it will do it.
Have you had anyone like study you, like where they did aura pictures or something to kind of see what you might have?
No.
That would be interesting just to,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking simple photography, right?
Yeah.
But to measure, or have you talked to maybe another psychic or?
No, I haven't. I've just kind of done my little thing, and I haven't really talked to many people about it. But like talking about auras and stuff with my Jerry wand, I can find that like the energy field on a person, and it's interesting.
Hold on. You can find an energy field with
the yeah. So if I go, okay, go right here. Let me make sure there's no water. Okay, there's nothing here. Okay, see, there's no water right here. Okay, so if I go here and I hold it to my dad. See, it started to spin. There was no water there. That's his energy field. That's the edge of it. If I hand him a plant, if I hand him a crystal, it will actually extend it.
I'm sorry, when you hand them, if you hand them a plant,
plant.
the energy field will grow.
Yes. We've tried it before where just a house plant or a crystal, and he'll hold on to it, and it will actually go out a little bit further. At least this is all,